Captain Atkinson is our match referee here this afternoon, overseeing two sides who haven't made too many new signings. Plenty to build on, though, from the end of last season. Newcastle's form over the last couple of months of last season was top four. Of course, they took 17 points from their final 9 Premier League games to surge away from relegation trouble, and West Ham, well, their run-in punctuated by a couple of costly defeats at home against Chelsea and here on Tyneside, which ultimately cost them the opportunity of a top 4 finish. Light drizzle over Tyneside. A buzz of expectancy around a sold-out St James's Park, and a strong and united anti-racism message as Newcastle United and West Ham United both take the knee. Good to see both sides in their recognisable home kits. Newcastle in the black and white stripes and the cloud and blue side from East London, kicking off their season here in the northeast, and of course the second successive season that they've kicked off against Newcastle United, hoping for rather better than before them at the London Stadium, empty London Stadium, this time 12 months ago.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the season holds for these two sides. Can West Ham replicate their form of last season? They've set their standards, and can Newcastle finally move forward? Can they threaten the top 10? I think keeping their key men fit will give them a very good chance of making that happen.
West Ham looking to get on the front foot early on, and they have a corner, and this was one of the areas of real strength for them throughout the campaign last year. And just as Newcastle were porous at times, this is an early opportunity for the Hammers.
Yeah, 17 Premier League goals from set plays last season on Bonner. Dawson up from the back if the delivery's right. Newcastle have a problem here.
Souček, joint top scorer with Mikel Antonio, voted the Hammer of the Year, the Czech international. He's right in there. Tester, Freddie Woodman as well on his Newcastle Premier League debut. Just wide, unconvincing from the home side.
Oh, it's a good job that Almiron is protecting that near post, because this could easily have open the scoring for West Ham. Just their physicality from set plays, it's so difficult to deal with. And he breaks the way of Souček, who maybe should do better. Almiron, that's a good clearance.
Antonio positioning himself right in the goal mouth there to make life difficult for the Newcastle goalkeeper. Held himself with that one. Dawson collected in by Rice. In by Benrahma, but a little bit too much on that one.
Two great outswinging deliveries there from Cresswell. I'm not a big fan of away swinging corners, but when they're flat and pacing, they don't really leave the 6-yard box. It gives his teammates something to attack. Great deliveries, the pair.
And you look at the two full-backs for West Ham. Cresswell, 8 assists in the Premier League last season. So far on the other side, 7. The predominant number of the Cresswell ones coming from set pieces as well, and you can see why, given those 2 deliveries.
Yeah, the two fullbacks do step forward to really good effect. And when they do that, it just then encourages Jared Bowen and maybe Fornell just to drift infield into pockets of space, so it makes West Ham doubly dangerous when their fullbacks do step forward.
Too many sides got the better of David Moyes' West Ham, home and away last season, but Newcastle United, one of those, and the only ones actually who finished outside the top 4. Plenty of goals around in the opening fixtures of the Premier League this weekend. 5 between these two here last season. And Newcastle finding Saint-Maximin, who can so often provide the spark. But he provided a little bit too much on that pass, and it could not be collected.
There's an opportunity there for Newcastle to break quickly. Last season, that was a major feature for both these sides, their ability to break up the pitch and turn defence into attack using the the pace of their attacking players.
Strongly, and Saint-Maximin. There's the step over. Declan Rice keeping his eye on the ball. But Saint-Maximin getting the cross in! And Newcastle United have the lead inside 5 minutes. That's the number 9's job. Stick it in the back of the net. And that's what Callum Wilson has done.
Well, this is the danger that Saint-Maximin and Wilson pose. When they combine, pretty much impossible to stop. It's poor defensively from West Ham, but he just takes his time, Saint-Maximin. He doesn't rush the ball into the box, doesn't get rid of it. He backs himself to beat his man, and when he does, he whips in a sensational ball. It's sloppy from Cresswell, it bounces off him. Well, the high press is on from Newcastle, but it's brilliant from Saint-Maximin. There's just no panic, he takes his time. There's a couple of attempts at getting the ball in, but Callum Wilson, you cannot allow him to get goal side of you. Those West Ham defenders, don't worry about the ball, worry about staying goal side of Callum Wilson. When the cross comes in, it's a simple finish because he's moved ahead of those defenders. But brilliant attacking play, first from Saint-Maximin, and then Wilson getting himself into the danger zone and getting his rewards.
And all just a little bit of history repeating itself. Callum Wilson for Newcastle against West Ham on day one of a Premier League season.
Yeah,
this time, though, it's in front of a full house, Andy.
Yeah, you're looking at Dawson and Soufal. Both are looking at the ball. Neither are looking at Wilson. Don't worry about the ball. You've got to be physical. You've got to stay goal side of him. It's too easy for the striker to get in.
Shelby. Saint-Maximin taking up positions that West Ham are finding it hard to deal with. Wearing number 8 for the Hammers this season. And here's their number 9, Mikel Antonio. But Newcastle tails her up, and Wilson was offside.
Yeah, but that's where Wilson will play, right on the shoulder. Centre half, if that ball is won back and played forward. And if defenders aren't switched on, as we saw with the goal, he'll get in.
In 11 games that Callum Wilson has against West Ham. Neil Craft, one of the contingent of Newcastle United players who was involved in the European Championships. Cresswell. West Ham came here last season. They came here without some really important players due to injury. Cresswell, one of those. There was no Declan Rice. It was during his spell out of the side, and Antonio missing as well. He's in the thick of the action here, Antonio. The block was by the Argentinian Federico Fernandez. And now the Paraguayan Almiron looking to get forward for Newcastle, but denied by Vladimir Soufal.
Slightly selfish there, Mikel Antonio. It is a good turn, but Jared Bowen had made an excellent forward run ahead of him. And at times that will have to happen when Antonio drops deep. The attacking midfielders have to get beyond him, and really Antonio should have played Bowen in.
Chuck looking to thread it through for Ben Ryan. Shelby. Almiron. Shepherded it out comfortably for a goal kick.
It's worth looking at the goal again. An aspect of it maybe we don't fully appreciate is, again, look at John Joe Shelby, the high press from Newcastle. We didn't see that really last season. They were a bit more passive. They step onto West Ham, they win the ball back high up the pitch. And again, the patience of Saint-Maximin. He doesn't rush that ball in and just whip it in and hope he finds his man. He waits until the opportunity, the space is there, and it's a brilliant delivery.
Dawson should be there, trying to put the brakes on, actually. A risky strategy, because there was certainly an opportunity to close in on that from Isaac Hayden.
There's a couple of times now we've seen Isaac Hayden break forward from central midfield, and he can do that. Almiron as well can do that, because they've got John Joe Shelby sitting really deep, protecting the centre halves, and those two attacking central midfielders can step up the pitch when Newcastle have comfortable possession.
Check, misplaced, and gifted to Ritchie, who finds Saint-Maximin. Dances beyond Dawson, finds Almiron. And here come Newcastle with Hayden. Will yet be life in this attack for the home side. Wilson alert, got there ahead of Ogbonna. Newcastle corner.
You see when Newcastle break there, I just mentioned Hayden and Almiron stepping up the pitch, supporting the front two. So virtually it's an attacking quartet they have. They win the ball back. It was a sloppy pass from Souček that gives them the ball, but how quickly those four players break up the pitch and put pressure on West Ham defensively.
Ritchie, so Fowles header. This is Almiron now for Newcastle. And Shelby. Nice dip of the shoulder there to open things up, and a nice pass. That though collected by Fornals. And Antonio for West Ham, who's got a little bit of help. Here's Bowen. Benrahma holding his position wide on the left for West Ham. This is Cresswell looking to drop it in for Antonio.
Yeah, you mentioned Benrahma there on that left-hand side. That's really where Antonio should have played that first forward ball. He actually goes to his right to Bowen. You see Benrahma is in space. That ball should have been played earlier for him. I just think going to the right, it just slows West Ham down. Newcastle can get bodies back, get themselves defensively set. And a good counter-attacking opportunity for West Ham has gone.
We know that Newcastle are trapped really in this joyless takeover twilight zone, which stops any real investment in the team, stops any real progress off the field in terms of the way that the owner wants to get rid of the club. It provides an awkward backdrop, and that's why a strong start such as Newcastle have had here is so important. Fornals. Quite right, so Fernandes can dig it out for Newcastle. Almiron.
It was a brilliant forward ball from Fernandes. You say dug it out, but it was a perfectly weighted pass for Almiron. But Callum Wilson was saying to Almiron there, just play the ball into the space ahead of me, don't play it towards me, as he was moving into space ahead of Almiron. Just the wrong choice of forward pass, but again the counter-attack for Newcastle was on.
There's a dynamism about the way that Newcastle have started this game that was certainly lacking large swathes of last season. It's one of their key players, to be fair. No coincidence that the two involved in the heart of the goal. The assist from Saint-Maximin, the finish from Callum Wilson. Callum Wilson only able to start 23 Premier League games last season, just 19 starts for Saint-Maximin.
Yeah, the pair picked up so many injuries, but when you're so dynamic and you're so quick as those two are, it's really no surprise that they're going to get themselves injured. Muscle injuries, hamstrings, it's going to happen to them because of the way that they play.
right. You mentioned the momentum that both clubs will be looking to continue from strong finishes to the end of last season. I mean, this, in terms of the way that Newcastle lined up, Andy, very much how you'd expect. This was what was settled on, this way of playing. And West Ham had everyone fit. This was very much the David Moyes template for the run-in as well.
I fully understand the formations that both teams are going with, just getting your best players within those formations.
Speaking of exciting players, Ben Rama threatened to open the door there, but gave it a little too much.
Well, we had plenty of teammates in the box. West Ham flooding the Newcastle penalty over the attackers. This is where Ben Rama can be really dangerous. Just overcooks the ball in, does a little bit too much. Clever from Fornals. Those attacking midfielders combining. Shelby doesn't want to be in that position, but he just needs to take a lot off that. There's far too much on it. There's no chance of anyone turning it home.
Well, as West Ham did, he had a really good pre-season side, Ben Rama. Final pre-season match was in the Betway Cup, as it was called, against Atalanta. He sparkled in that, scored in the game against Brentford that preceded that as well, back at his former club. And David Moyes has challenged him to carry that sort of form into the season. So foul to Souček, and Souček again. Antonio. Ben Rama. Thought about it, finds Fornals. Cresswell, and in! Whether Bowen touched it over the line or whether it was Cresswell's goal, it will not stand. The flag from Lee Betts, the assistant on this near side, goes up.
Well, it took a while coming. They're just checking whether Bowen is offside as that cross comes in from Cresswell. It is a wicked ball in. Really patient play from West Ham into Antonio. The attacking midfielders get involved. Ben Rama. They just keep it moving. And it is a wicked ball in from Cresswell. It is Jarrod Bowen just ahead of the play there as the ball comes in. Well, actually, the ball is over the line when Bowen touches it, so really Cresswell has scored, hasn't he? Souček steps over. Does he get the slightest of touches on it? We'll see.
Well, there's plenty for the VAR, Peter Banks, to have a look at that.
Yeah, as Cresswell whips it in, if no one gets a touch, the goal has to stand.
And the goal does stand. The review goes in the favour of the visitors. Cresswell's not sure it's his. There may have been a touch in there from Thomas Souček as well. Either way, West Ham are level, 1-1.
But it all comes from really patient play, getting the ball into a big, strong centre-forward who holds it up, doesn't try and be too clever, just recycles it into midfield. They keep the ball moving, get it wide, and an excellent ball in. It causes defensive disarray.
Maxima slowly working their way back into the game, West Ham, before they got that goal, and you feel the momentum switch has happened here, and this is a really significant period of the match, even though we're still inside the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, since the goal, West Ham reacted really well. They got the foot on the ball, they forced Newcastle back, they dictated the play, they were patient in scoring the goal. They showed a lot of character. They could easily have maybe got a bit carried away and conceded a second. They didn't. They got control of the game back. It's worth seeing this Ball that's whipped in by Criswell. Does anyone touch it? The defender certainly doesn't. Souček doesn't. And the ball is over the line when Bowen touches it, so that is immaterial. So that's why it's a goal, and it's Cresswell's goal.
Shelby. Newcastle rediscover the zest with which they started the game.
I was here for this game last season. It finished 3-2. It was an absolutely crazy game. Craig Dawson was sent off and it was end-to-end. It finished 3-2. This could easily be the same.
Aaron Cresswell, and we are, as it stands, awarding the goal to him. Went through the whole of last season without scoring, but has started on day one with a goal here. And in fact, he his very first West Ham goal, I remember, against Newcastle United shortly after joining the club. Souček, Antonio, Fornals, Benrahma. West Ham starting to purr.
There's a little give and go there from Benrahma, but he simply runs into, I think it's Emil Kraft. He's saying that he was pushed and he was fouled. Martin Atkinson is very close and he wasn't moved at all. I think that's the right decision. He didn't look at an obvious foul in there.
And this, incidentally, is the same refereeing team. Martin Atkinson was fourth official and David Coote, who is fourth official here, was referee. Was at Burnley yesterday. I don't know if you saw that James Tarkowski goal that was allowed. There was quite a bit of contact on the Brighton defender there. As you will have heard, I'm sure, many times, big change this season in the way that incidents are reviewed by the referees. The lighter touch is the buzz term. And I think it's one we all welcome, judging by what we've seen so far this Premier League weekend. Bowen, lovely first touch. Still going, Bowen! Denied by Woodman. Well, his dance through the defence was a work of delight, but Woodman had other ideas and stood strong to deny Jarrod Bowen. Now St Maxima. Anything you can do, Jarrod, I can do better. Shelby. Wilson. Oh, tried the back heel. Fabianski was positioned correctly or fortunately, either way. He's denied a second, Callum Wilson.
Oh, it's end-to-end stuff. And John Joe Shelby dictating the play. Brilliant forward ball, great weight on it. And the physicality just to secure possession there from Callum Wilson, and improvises and nearly comes off for him.
Benrahma. Clark. Antonio. Shelby breaks it up. Finds St Maxima. Martin Atkinson plays advantage. He tied himself in, not St Maxima. And the more robust approach of Thomas Souček was able to launch West Ham forward. Bowen. Up by Fernandez. He cemented his position towards the end of last season as the #1 choice left wing back ahead of Jamal Lewis, who again finds himself among the substitutes here.
Well, this is sensible from Newcastle, just taking a bit of sting out of the game, enjoying some possession, because West Ham have been dominating since they equalised.
Saint-Maximin. To Almiron. Ritchie. Up through the gears. Almiron shot off the top of the crossbar. And there may well have been a touch in there from Fabianski as well.
Yeah, I think a block from Declan Rice sent it spinning towards that top corner, but this is superb play by Saint-Maximin. You know, he draws defenders, then importantly releases the pass. And that deflection could have gone anywhere, could have dropped under the crossbar. And every time Saint-Maximin gets on the ball, things look like they're going to happen.
Another Ritchie corner. It's not away. Dawson just got enough of a block in the way to stop a clean shot on goal from Kieran Clark.
That's not easy because he's protected the ball really well, but he's got his back to goal, so he's trying to manufacture just half a yard to get a shot in, and he's just really out-muscled.
Here's Ritchie. Almiron on the move. He's running behind. So foul.
Well, earlier, Jared Bowen, brilliant piece of attacking play. The ball just sticks to that left foot of his as he's dropped his shoulder and comes in field. But Freddie Woodman does the important thing. He doesn't, you know, go to ground early. He doesn't give Bowen something to shoot at. He just stays big. He stays in position. And this isn't a glamorous save, but it's such an important one. I think Jared Bowen from that position, you know, he's well balanced. He should be just sliding it past the keeper on the floor and scoring. He gives Woodman a chance, but credit Woodman for standing his ground.
Proud godfather looks on Gareth Southgate. Great friends of Freddie's father Andy from back in Crystal Palace days. We talked about Freddie Woodman being his Premier League debut, but he's far from callow, isn't he? It's actually his 100th league appearance. Spent the last couple of years on loan at Swansea, was involved in the Championship playoff final last season for Swansea as they were seen off by Brentford. Benrahma. The goal scorer, Cresswell, looking to turn provider. Might have been a little glance by Kieran Clark there to make sure.
Every time Aaron Cresswell picks up possession in a wide area, in an attacking area, he's so considered with the ball that he delivers. We saw that with his goal. You know, he doesn't just put his head down and flash it in and hope a teammate gets on the end of it. He's trying to pick people out, whether it be near post, central goal, far post. He's intentionally trying to put it on a plate for them.
The near post glance there from Declan Rice that nearly caused such problems.
Well, I think it's fair to say that West Ham do deserve to be level on what we've seen so far. Really entertaining game. The threat is clearly there from Newcastle, but they're just bossing possession. And West Ham plenty more touches in that Newcastle penalty area as well, and with the attacking quality they've got, if that continues, I feel they're the most likely to get the next goal.
Bonner. Socek. Here's Antonio. Kraft has gone with him. Fornals, Benrahma. Blocked by Fernandez, but Fornals hasn't finished. And he fires wide.
You see there when Antonio steps away from the central striking position into midfield, Fornals steps forward. Socek does as well, Bowen. So they're kind of a wash. They have three centre-forwards at times, and their actual centre-forward is dropping into more of a creative role. I do think that attacking flexibility, when you've got players popping up in a variety of positions, it's so hard defensively. You matter the numbers back there, but if you don't communicate well, there's players popping up where you don't expect them to do, and if you don't pass on that information to your defensive teammates, you're in trouble.
Too detailed to try and stop Alan Saint-Maximin. They held him up. Murphy. Good to see Isaac Hayden back in action. Had a nasty injury towards the end of last season. What was a low point for many reasons, that defeat at Brighton. Newcastle corner. From Ritchie. He doesn't get many goals, Kieran Clark, but he has got a couple against the Hammers. Not this time, though.
That is a peach of a ball in from Matt Ritchie. Flat, pacey edge of the 6-yard box. Keeper can't come and deal with it. It's everything. Attacking centre half once, but he just mistimes the jump. He's slightly underneath it as he makes contact.
Four more live games for you from the Premier League. Weekend number 2 starts with Brighton against Watford, Saturday night football from 5. Doubleheader on Super Sunday. Southampton against Manchester United, and Arsenal bruised after their defeat at Brentford, host Chelsea. And the first Monday night football of the season involves West Ham as they host Leicester. Back in front of what should be a full house at the London Stadium. Seemed a little surprised, didn't they, West Ham, with the zest with which Newcastle started the game, but he'll be pleased, David Moyes, I think, with the way that his side have taken the higher ground now in most aspects of the match.
Yeah, it's been a good response from West Ham. We saw that last season. They did rescue a lot of points from losing position, so I don't think he'd be that surprised.
Quite often from larger deficits than the one they faced here. Ryan Wilson. A nuisance, finding Almiron. Hayden. Too high. A watching brief today for Joe Willock. And what a lot he has to live up to. Look at those numbers there. 8 goals in 14 appearances. Delighted to welcome him back, but I do wonder whether the bar has been set quite high by him.
I just hope the Newcastle fans don't expect that to continue, because clearly he is a very good player. He came here, had a real impact coming off the bench primarily, but he's still such a young player, he's still developing. So again, I wouldn't expect such an incredible goals return when he is available to play.
And of those goals, 7 came in successive appearances in the run-in, making him, he was the youngest player in Premier League history to score with 7 successive appearances. Anyway, Newcastle fans will have to wait. Aston Villa next weekend is what's penciled in for his return to the team sheet, certainly for his availability. Cresswell. This is Fornals. Antonio, Benrahma. He went a little early.
But once again, you see Antonio dropping deep, Benrahma becoming the centre forward. But it's good defending actually from Fernandez. He realised that Benrahma had gone too early and just stayed the wrong side of him. So when the forward ball was played, he was offside.
There's good variety, isn't there, in that attacking line for West Ham. Lots of interchange between Benrahma and Antonio. Bowen, for the most part, has stayed out on this right-hand side. Fornals coming forward as well. Souček. Fornals. Cresswell.
Well, I think West Ham have been the more dangerous team, but Saint-Maximin as an individual, and certainly for Newcastle, has been a real threat. We saw that with the goal, but he's popping up all over the place. Maybe a bit too much, dropping deep onto the halfway line to dictate play. Really, they need him in that attacking third. Get him on the ball. Running at centre halves and fullbacks, and he is an absolute nightmare to deal with.
Getting his 4th season here at Newcastle underway. So Maximin. Kraft. He's used in that role on the right-hand side of the back three. Frequently in the run-in, but that was largely due to the lack of availability of Jamal Lascelles and Fabian Schär. They're both on the bench today. Almiron. Ritchie. And now Saint-Maximin. Shelby. Excellent defensive work by Vladimir Sofal.
That is a wicked ball in, but Sofal does everything right. He stays with his man, that's the important thing.
O'Connor's header was a timely one, a crucial one. Almiron. Now Ritchie. Fernandez. Shelby. Saint-Maximin. Finds Ritchie, but Bowen was on him like a shot. Good spell this for Newcastle. Almiron. Hung up by Ritchie. And headed home by Jacob Murphy. 5 minutes before the break, Newcastle's lead is restored.
It's a magnificent piece of play from Matt Ritchie just to keep that ball alive. I'm sure this actually comes off Craig Dawson last. But it's brilliant play from Ritchie, because that ball is maybe slightly overplayed. And again, the high press is on, they win the ball back, they keep it alive, 2 against 1. I think this pass from Almiron is slightly heavy, but Ritchie does really well. He does the right thing, he just chops it, he keeps it alive, and Murphy, it's a slightly tentative header. But Dawson can't see the ball until it's too late. One wing-back crossing it, the other wing-back getting there. Actually, I thought Dawson had taken the touch, he hadn't. It is Murphy's goal, but it's wing-back to wing-back. If you get them high at the pitch and get crosses in, you get your rewards.
And his reward is his first goal here at St James's Park for Newcastle. The Willocks are celebrating just like the rest of Tyneside. The first half that's ebbed and flowed between the side from the northeast and the side from the east of the capital. Looks like it's going to go Newcastle's way when we break for half-time in a few minutes' time. It's been richly entertaining fare, though.
Yeah, for both goals, though, West Ham had the ball, Newcastle pressed them. In that attacking third, won the ball back, and excellent crosses, one from Ritchie, one from St Maximin, and both ended up in the back of the West Ham net. 2 headers. I think that one from Jacob Murphy is a really intelligent one. I initially thought it'd come off Dawson, but it's just an intelligent header. He just heads it back across goal. It's about accuracy, it's not about power. The keeper has no chance.
St Maximin. Wilson had to check his run, something that St Maximin is certainly not doing. Now Wilson gets it. Wilson shot blocked. A cluster of claret and blue. Maximin. Bonner kept his eye on the ball. He may have got some of the man, but that was a good challenge. Ben Rama intercepted by Clark.
Well, Clark had to get his defensive positioning there absolutely spot on. If he'd got that wrong, Bowen was in behind him because he hadn't stayed with the runner. He just backed himself to pick off the forward pass, and he got it right.
So foul. Ben Rama off the shins of Fernandez for a West Ham corner. "17 attempts on goal so far in the first half, and that is the most of any first half of this opening Premier League weekend.
It's been a cracking start to the season. I think the fans are inspiring the players.
28 Premier League goals and counting as Bowen gets this corner in towards Ogbonna. And Cresswell at the heart of much of what has been good about West Ham. Out by Fernandez. So foul. And Fornals. Bowen collects, finds Ben Rama, who'll take it on and fire it wide.
And as soon as the ball is played his way, there's only one thing in his mind: I'm going to take a touch and shoot. And he isn't really closed down anywhere near quickly enough. But the fact it's a right-footed shot, it's always moving away from the target. Unless it's absolutely spot on, it's just always going to drift wide. It's certainly been an entertaining game for the neutrals, but I think David Moyes, Steve Bruce will be completely happy with the lack of control from their teams.
Well, there's always a perception, isn't there, that David Moyes' sides have plenty of clean sheets, and that's very much the bedrock of the way they do things. That certainly wasn't the case in the run-in for West Ham last season. Barely a clean sheet to be seen in the last dozen games or so. to tag on to this first half. Wilson collected that really well. Almiron takes it off his toes. He wants this, Almiron. Just touch behind. So time for another Newcastle corner.
Well, Bonner tries to get to this ball, and Callum Wilson just uses his body just to lever him out of the way. And at times you can't risk trying to get to the ball because Wilson's just too strong for you. And then the link plays there. He puts it in the path of Almiron. Maybe just the toe of Cresswell takes it behind for the corner. Once again, that counter-attack with Almiron and Hayden breaking forward to support Saint-Maximin and Wilson is causing West Ham so many problems.
Powered away by Souček. Dawson made that his. Just over. Well, he knows that was a good chance there, Emil Krafth.
Yeah, but it is a slightly difficult one. It's a bouncing ball. You ideally want this to come across your body and take it with your left foot. You got more chance of keeping it down and on target. It could be a defining moment in the game if they were able to tuck that away. Newcastle give themselves a 2-goal cushion. Get them closer and closer to those 3 points.
Antonio. And Martin Atkinson brings the first half to a close here. Newcastle fans
whatever game it was, both teams have been trying to win the game, trying to get on the front foot, trying to create chances to score goals. Newcastle will be encouraged by the way they're playing. They're playing with confidence. You know, everyone needs confidence in different degrees. Newcastle are always under pressure at St James's because the crowd demand they get on the front foot. Second half, manage the game, see where the game's going. Some of the big players sense where the game's going. It's not the right time to, you know, keep charging forward. Work that out for yourself.
But he's had a super start, hasn't he? Come flying out of the blocks. What will the West Ham response be under David Moyes? Team news from North London very shortly. Will we see Harry Kane here later this afternoon as Spurs take on Manchester City? First, though, the second half at St James's Park with Andy Hinchcliffe and Bill Leslie.
Yes, and let's hope for more of the same here. No changes to either side at the break. And Newcastle in particular will hope to maintain that excellent momentum with which they started and finished that first half. Goals inside the first 5 minutes and last 5 minutes, in between some nervous moments provided to them by the East Londoners. Bonner back to Fabianski.
Well, maybe the commentators' kiss of death, but if the second half is anything like the first, surely we've not seen the end of the goal scoring.
First headed goal. The man on the ball here, Jacob Murphy. And Saint-Maximin is keen to show off more of the same. So good to hear those oohs and ahs when he pulls out his bag of tricks. Well, there's been a vibrancy, Andy, about this Newcastle United performance that was often lacking last season. And when you look at those numbers, you can see that they've really upped their levels, haven't they?
Yeah, I think there's an energy to the first half. At times they sat deep, had a good defensive shape and tried to keep West Ham out. But when the opportunity was there to get forward, and I mentioned Almiron and Hayden in that first half, getting forward, supporting the front two. So they attacked us of four. They didn't just leave it to the front two to carry the threat. So there's more of a threat from the team. There's more players getting involved going forward. So your attacking threat steps up.
And if you wanting clarification on exactly what you saw there, in the first half here, they bettered their numbers of average attempts and expected goals from the whole of matches on average last season. Whether it's the fan effect or the new season effect or the plan just working rather better, it's all in tune for the home side.
I think you'd have to remember there were chunks of last season when Saint-Maximin and Wilson were missing through injury, and that will of course affect their attacking numbers. We've seen it in this game, the attacking threat that the front two can pose.
Fernandes to Kraft. Murphy. Now Fornals for West Ham. Antonio. Bowen's made a darting run in the middle, and it was cut out by Federico Fernandes.
Two intelligent forward passes there, first from Cresswell and then from Fornals. Bit of a lazy cross in the end from Antonio.
Souček to Ogbonna. Now Declan Rice. Fornals. Benrahma. Offside flag. Stops West Ham in their tracks.
There will be periods in this second half where Newcastle will be defending the edge of their box. It's very important they keep their shape, they don't drop too deep, don't allow space for Antonio to run into. So don't get disappointed that they don't have the ball, just individually, collectively keep West Ham out.
Well, we know that West Ham are without Jesse Lingard, who made such an impact for them in the second half of last season, but taking that into account, this is pretty much their strongest starting 11. How often they can get that out with the extra exertions of the Europa League group phase and all that will entail. It'll be interesting to see. They still feel they need new numbers to get them through the challenges ahead. A minimum of 6 extra games, and that's not including the Carabao Cup and FA Cup on top of their league commitments.
Yeah, that is the worry, the extra games that West Ham have, and that's why maybe West Ham fans were thinking we should be signing a few more players. But to me, keeping Souček and Soufal and Rice was just as important as adding players to the squad. But the extra demands of European football could clearly affect their Premier League chances.
It's great, though, to be able to contemplate some trips around the continent for West Ham. Memories of their Intertoto Cup run back in the late 90s. It will be the first time they've ever participated in a group phase of a European competition. I'm sure there'll be some familiar destinations and perhaps some less familiar ones. Rice. I don't think we can expect him to be up to full fitness just yet, given that he's only started one match in pre-season because of the break he was given after England's run to the final. Here's Ben Rama. Good strength to hold off Almiron, and he was scythed down by John Joe Shelby. And here we see the first yellow card of the afternoon, shown by Martin Atkinson.
Yeah, it's wild from Shelby. He's never going to get to the ball. Great touch, great strength in Ben Rama, and once you dive in like that and get off your feet, you've got to get a touch on the ball at the very least, and he's nowhere near it.
It looks for all the world that this will be left to the man who has already scored for West Ham, Aaron Cresswell. He's the left-footed option. Side Ben Rama trotting back to provide a right-footed one. Cresswell takes and fires into the Leazes end behind Freddie Woodman's goal.
Well, he's a long way out, and it's a giant Newcastle wall, so very, very difficult to get it up and over with pace to try and pick out the top corner.
Goal in the first half, which is credited to him, is his 9th in the Premier League. Amongst those, he does have free kicks. I remember him scoring one against Manchester United a few seasons back. There's Saint-Maximin. Robbed by Rice, who found Bowen. Antonio had to stretch, but he's kept it alive and found Ben Rama, who finds the back of the net. West Ham level again. Side Ben Rama.
Well, this is a problem when Saint-Maximin drops really deep, and I mentioned it in the first half that he does drop very deep to try and get on the ball. If he loses it there, trying to run forward with it, Declan Rice steps in and wins it back. Then Newcastle have a problem. They're short in numbers defensively, but Antonio does ever so well here because the ball is fizzed at him from Bowen. Does well to get a touch on it, to take some of the pace on it. The cross, very similar to the Ritchie cross, really. And you've got defenders standing and watching, attackers on the move, and that's a terrible combination from a Newcastle point of view. You have to be aware, you have to open your body up, defend the ball, defend the man as well. Ritchie can't allow Ben Rama to, get goal side of him. And it all stems from Saint-Maximin losing the ball under pressure from Declan Rice.
Well, he was signed from Brentford with a lot of promise, a lot of potential, but it was an awkward first season for him. He only managed one Premier League goal in the whole of last season, but he has one on day one here. Newcastle 2, West Ham 2.
Yeah, give Ben Rama a lot of credit as well. It looked like Antonio was running out of pitch. Maybe didn't expect him to get a cross in, but he did. He thought he's got the ability to wrap his foot around that, so get into a good attacking position and hope he picks me out. And he ends up scoring.
So Maximin in the field, he has some atonement to do. That's in by Murphy. Collected by Fabianski. Back comes Almiron. Seemed to almost catch Bowen by surprise. Great noise around St James's now from a crowd that is over 50,000. Hayden looking for Wilson. Cresswell and Fabianski combined to snuff out the danger, with Murphy coming in behind.
It wasn't a bad ball in, but Jacob Murphy was actually caught slightly on his heels. We saw for his goal, he went right in on top of Cresswell and scored. When this ball is dinked in, he's not really anticipated a decent ball might come in. It's easy for Cresswell in the end.
Cornels. Antonio. Dawson almost lost his bearings. Now Saint-Maximin. Still Saint-Maximin, twisting, turning, firing low. Fabianski doing enough. Murphy now for Newcastle. The block by Rice.
Well, that could have gone anywhere, but Craig Dawson is just all over the place. He's really panicked by Callum Wilson, then by Saint-Maximin, and he just can't deal with either of them. And when this ball is whipped in, it could have cannoned off anybody. Cresswell, Ritchie, that could easily have gone in.
Shelby trots across to take the corner in front of the Gallagher end for Newcastle. Dawson got his head on it. Murphy will get there ahead of Benrahma. Queuing up at the far post there for Newcastle. Super block by Bowen. That may well have been going close from Almiron. Saint-Maximin goes early. And any touch on that could have made it very interesting indeed.
Well, if that had been on target, I'm not sure Freddie Woodman, or sorry, Fabianski would have been able to get to this, because it is a cross. I think it's intended for, for Wilson. But if that's on target, if that's inside the far post, there's so much pace on it, zips off the surface. That could easily have beaten the keeper. Great response from Newcastle to conceding the equaliser, come right back into the game.
Two this season, when the scoreline was as it is now. Back in April here 4 months ago, he came off the bench to score the winning goal. That's not a luxury available to Steve Bruce yet. Rice. Souček. Sofal. Too robust from Matt Ritchie as he looked to steal it back for Newcastle off Jared Bowen. Antonio. Callum Wilson sizing up his options. Murphy, numbers back for West Ham now. The weight of numbers allowing Rice to bring it out. Such an important steal by Declan Rice off Saint-Maximin to provide the platform for that equalising goal. Bowen. Can cut it back, but two sliding into block for Newcastle.
He's really difficult to defend against, Jarrod Bones. He does mix his game up on that right-hand side with his stronger left foot. He can drop a shoulder and move infield, but he does mix it up and go on the outside as well, so he keeps defenders guessing.
The player Steve Bruce knows well. Signed him from Hereford when he was Hull City manager. And it's Bowen who will take the corner here. Fernandez away as far as Benrahma. Not sure he knew just how close Bowen was there, Richie, and that's why he's got the benefit of the doubt.
Well, the way Bowen went down, it looked pretty clear there was some contact from Matt Ritchie. And he was, he's nowhere near the ball. He does catch Bowen. He has touched it away from the Newcastle man, so it's a bit unfortunate, Bowen, not to a free kick for that.
Well, I think that angle we just saw, which is obviously different from what we're seeing, it looks slightly more like it should have been punished, that Ritchie challenge as the ball got away from him. But the ball is with Newcastle. Half an hour to play. Fornals, bit of space to work with here. Rice. Benrahma. Fornals shifts it on to Sofal. Really good ball. Back off the post. The challenge looked a dangerous one, and Martin Atkinson points to the spot to give a penalty to West Ham United.
Yeah, it's Jacob Murphy who takes the ball down, it gets away from him, he goes chasing after it, trying to win it back. There's Fornals, I think it is, who steps in. He does look as if he's caught his man here. How Antonio misses, heaven only knows. When he breaks the way of Murphy, comes off his shins, he's slightly laboured in reacting. And he goes diving in. I think by his reaction, Murphy's reaction, it tells you he knows he's caught his man.
Peter Banks, the VAR, will have a look to see if there's any reason why this penalty can't be given. We know the lighter touch is being adopted, and that'll be taken into account.
The only question is whether Murphy actually plays the ball onto Fornals. Does he get the ball first? That's what VAR are looking at.
Well, the check is complete on the penalty, I can tell you. They're just having a look to see whether there is an offside in there that would prevent the award of the penalty.
I think it's possibly Murphy who's actually playing on Sofal when he steps forward from right back.
The check is complete. The wait is over for Mikel Antonio. And in his absence last season, they struggled a bit from the penalty spot. Misses for Jesse Lingard and for Declan Rice. And a miss from Mikel Antonio, but followed in by Souček. And for the first time, West Ham United lead at St James's Park. Twice they've come from behind, and this time they've turned it round.
It's so important that when a penalty is being struck, the defenders as well as attackers sprint back towards their goalkeeper, because this can happen. You know, it's saved, very good save by Woodman. The defenders just don't get there quick enough, and you know, it's Souček who reacts the quickest, but he's sprinting towards the goal, maybe anticipating, expecting the penalty to be saved, and he's there to tuck it home.
Delight from David Moyes. Well, Antonio, who must have thought he was going to score when he got that initial header in, had another chance to get the goal, which would have levelled it up with Paulo Di Canio as West Ham's all-time joint top Premier League scorer. But it's Souček, who was joint top scorer with Antonio in the league last season, who gives West Ham that 3-2 lead. it's West Ham who have a real spring in their step. They sense that there's another goal in it for them sooner rather than later. They may be right. Benrahma taken off his toes by Shelby. Murphy, he's lost out in a very dangerous area as well. Bowen, relatively routine for the Premier League debutant Freddie Woodman. Saint-Maximin. Murphy. Kraft to Hayden. Touched away by Souček. And Benrahma. Antonio busting a gut to get forward. Picked out by Benrahma. It's Mikel Antonio! Who gets his goal and may well have taken the match away from Newcastle.
Well, it's absolutely devastating. When the ball breaks the way of Benrahma, you know, Mikel Antonio, his change of pace, the way he sprints up the pitch to support the play. Just watch this, middle of your picture, head down, sprints as fast as he can. Defenders watching the ball, Benrahma just delays ever so slightly. And that just opens the space up, the angle up for Antonio to drill it home. It's a sensational counter-attack, but without the sprint forward from Antonio, nothing happens because Benrahma hasn't got a forward pass. You know, he covers the hard yards, Antonio, and then absolutely buries it.
That is why he is so valuable for West Ham United. Mikel Antonio, who gets his 47th Premier League goal for West Ham, keeping distinguished company at the top. His 49th in all competitions for the Hammers.
Yeah, if you look at the stats from last season in terms of fast breaks, West Ham were right up there. Why would you change that way of playing when you've got players as devastating as Mikel Antonio?
Saint-Maximin. Almiron. Ritchie. He's usually pretty reliable from those sort of situations, but not this time. Not this time for Newcastle, who have a quarter of the contest left to try and repair the damage. One of the longer journeys on the itinerary of the West Ham United supporters, dished out to them on day one, and at the moment it's all feeling worthwhile. So foul. Bowen. So foul, couldn't take it in his stride. But Newcastle have certainly been knocked out of theirs. 2 goals in the space of 3 minutes. Time for a change. Time to up the ante. The introduction of Ryan Fraser and the withdrawal of the holding midfielder John Joe Shelby.
Yeah, Steve Bruce had to react. Presumably he'll just sit Isaac Hayden a little bit deeper, but they've got to throw everything now at West Ham. The problem is, yes, they might get a goal, but the way West Ham are playing on the counter-attack, they could get more. It's been a brilliant second half of West Ham for Said Benrahma as well, in particular, under huge pressure in this game this season with Jesse Lingard going back to Man United. He scored. I just think that the timing of that forward pass, the angle, the weight of it for Antonio to make it forward was brilliant. He's been really impressive individually for West Ham in this second half.
Well, the challenge was there from his manager for him to step up on the Premier League stage. A goal and an assist for the Algerian would represent doing just that. In by Murphy. Collected by Ritchie. Bowen with time to collect his thoughts. Well, a reminder that part 2 of Super Sunday is up and coming. Tottenham against Manchester City follows us. Big team news coming in as well from White Hart Lane. Spurs, no Harry Kane in their matchday squad, not involved at all today. Jack Grealish starts for Manchester City. Here's Kraft.
So, Bill, what's the Premier League goal count now? How many are we up to for this opening round of games?
I make it 32, 33.
Do you think fans have had an influence on the players?
I think without a doubt.
It certainly looks like it. Players have really responded incredibly well. This game has been an absolute belter, both sides going at it right from the off.
And you'll know as an ex-player, if you are playing in what is a pretty soulless bowl, even though you are top-level competition, and then you have an atmosphere behind you, it's chalk and cheese, isn't it?
I tended to have that effect on full stadiums. I can turn it into a soulless bowl very easily with my own performance.
The stadium emptier. Oh, it's been a brilliant first weekend of the Premier League, and it's not over yet. Not here, nor in North London. Just finished totting up. We're on 33 goals, by the way, Andy.
I'm not sure we're finished.
No. Benrahma. How inviting was that? Dug out by Federico Fernandez before a West Ham boot could come and meet it. On the run. Saint-Maximin. Clipped by Declan Rice.
Declan Rice has either got a bit of cramp or he's tweaked a calf here, because he's saying I actually picked up an injury and that made me foul Saint-Maximin. I'm not sure that was the case, but as soon as he went down, he appealed to the referee. Yeah, I think he's saying cramp. So Maximin on the ball, Rice in close attendance. You can see there he just pulls up as he commits the foul.
You can understand it if Declan Rice is cramping up. He played 63 minutes against Atalanta at the London Stadium last weekend. Really hasn't had, obviously other than a couple of training sessions, hasn't had anything like a proper pre-season.
Well, he'll want to go back on, but David Moyes and the medical staff at West Ham have to be very careful with this, because you don't want him to run through a problem that he's clearly gotten, exacerbate the injury. If it is cramp, I think you've got to manage this situation very carefully. You've got Mark Noble on the bench, so you've got someone who can step into midfield for him.
Well, he's out there for now. It was such a big factor in the falling short, if you like. It's still a successful season last time out for West Ham, but 2 points If they'd had Declan Rice for the match here, they got away from them by 3-2 for the one at home against Chelsea, which they could well have nicked 1-0 rather than be edged out 1-0. Such an important player for them, showing no signs of any injury here as he drives forward. And 40 minutes on the clock when Steve Bruce saw Jacob Murphy give his side the lead. That is the last effort on target that Newcastle have mustered.
Yeah, I think we've seen some sporadic attacks from them with kind of Wilson and St Maximin, but West Ham really controlled the second half as a team. I mentioned Saïd Benrahma, his influence on this second half, but I think Declan Rice, he's really imposed himself. He was the one that won the ball back from St Maximin to build that platform for Benrahma to get the equaliser. So I think individually, collectively, West Ham have been much the stronger in the second half.
Owen to Benrahma. Now Declan Rice. So checks cross, and I think that little glance in there from Kraft played a very important role in taking it away from Antonio.
Yeah, if Kraft doesn't touch this, doesn't flick it on, I think Antonio makes it 5 and it's game over. There's a bouncing ball here, and does Richie gets the ball first, then catch? So if I think it's that raised arm, maybe that raised left arm of Richie that VAR will have a little look at. It's a tricky one, but once you let that ball bounce, you've got a problem. You're going to get closed down, and does he overstep the mark? Is he protecting himself, or is it dangerous?
Nothing doing there from the VAR. Peter Banks or Martin Atkinson.
And it seemed the right choice. It wasn't kind of a swinging, wild swinging elbow from Matt Ritchie.
Bowen. Benrahma wants it. Souček gets it. He was well tracked by Hayden.
The unselfish work off the ball there from Antonio, running into the channels, offering himself up for the forward pass. He secures possession, gets it back into midfield. Outstanding striking play.
Kraft. And they're on dawdled. Rice didn't. Good strength from the England international as well, driving West Ham up the pitch. Bowen, Antonio was getting ready, but it was taken away from him by Kraft. Now Murphy bringing it forward for Newcastle, who need something to happen soon if they're going to salvage anything from this. The substitute, Fraser.
Well, Fabianski, I think he reads this, he knows what Ryan Fraser's looking to do. He's drifting across his goal. If it's on target, he's probably going to get there and save it. Oh, Declan Rice, just remind me, he did have cramp, didn't he? I don't know what was in his drink or what he ate, but it's superhuman since he went back onto the pitch. There's no way he was coming off. I was worried about whether he could see the game out, but he's looked stronger and stronger since he complained of having cramp.
Well, he's limping now, but he's made 2 lung-busting runs forward since he was down getting treatment.
He might have to protect him from himself.
Cresswell. Fornals. The allays pouring down from high in the Leazes stand where the 3,000 or so West Ham fans are. The second half performance levels from the Hammers have quite simply been too hot for the home side to handle. Rice. Here's Fornals. Saved by Woodman. Who, for the record, is the 7th goalkeeper to save a penalty on his Premier League debut, and the first since Michael McGovern did so for Norwich back in 2019. Scant consolation, I'm sure, if the scoreline remains as it is now in 10 minutes or so time.
Well, it's interesting from West Ham. Actually, their possession stat has gone down slightly from the first half, but they've clearly carried more of a threat to Newcastle in the second half, and key to that is getting Antonio Benrahma heavily involved in the game high up the pitch.
As you would have seen at the team sheets at the start, you're still allowed to name 9 substitutes in the Premier League this season, but you're still only allowed to use 3. Newcastle have used 1. Looks like they're going to use the subsequent 2. Joelinton and Sean Longstaff are both ready for an introduction. Rice. Still full of running, Declan Rice to Benrahma. Rice. So far, it's inch perfect from Rice for the check. Who cuts back to his compatriot. And it's deflected wide.
Well, Matt Ritchie just sells himself here. Unless you're absolutely sure you're going to get to the ball, don't sell yourself like that. Just stand your ground. And important touch from Fernandes.
So another corner for the side that scored more from set pieces in the Premier League last season than any other. Fernandes stoops to head clear as far as Sofal. Good industry from Callum Wilson. He's pressing alone. And Fabianski can clear. And we're going to see a flurry of substitutions here. 2 of them are going to come from Newcastle. We're going to take off a defender, the right-hand central defender from their back 3, Emil Kraft, and send on Sean Longstaff. Callum Wilson makes his way off. Having started the match so strongly with that early goal inside the first 5 minutes to give Newcastle the lead. Elected stage left to facilitate the introduction of Joelinton, 25 yesterday. And the scorer in the win against West Ham here back in April. little bit too close for comfort there, as Ogbonna and Fabianski left it to one another. Looks like Ryan Fredericks is going to be sent on for West Ham. We're getting word that Said Benrahma is going to be the one coming off. I wonder if this will signal a back three or a back five for West Ham to see the job through. Murphy. Still Murphy. Fraser couldn't take and turn, and West Ham can scramble clear by Soufal.
That's a good job. He actually steps in there, Soufal, because if that ball could have been turned on to Saint-Maximin, he was free at the far post.
He's trying to wriggle free here. A nudge from Soufal, a no from Martin Atkinson, and the ball's with Benrahma. Fraser to Ritchie. Joelinton waits in the middle. Dawson's there to put it behind for a Newcastle corner. Fraser with the corner. Dawson away, blasted in. Well, he caught that really well. But deflected wide, and I'm not sure, had it not been deflected, that Fabianski could have done anything about that.
Yeah, he's disappointed, Ritchie. He probably feels that he should have bypassed all those players in front of him and drilled it home.
Important touch away by Antonio. Saint-Maximin now. Little glance off a West Ham head that took it away from the assembled company. But the assistant on this near side has spotted an offside. Newcastle complaints falling on deaf ears in the form of Martin Atkinson, and you felt that from that attack they really needed something, as the hopes of an unlikely comeback diminish even further. So after some vital contributions in this second half, a goal and an assist, Said Benrahma is off to righteous applause from the rafters here at St James's Park, and Ryan Fredericks comes on. And it does indeed look like Cresswell, as he has done many times in the past for West Ham, will go to the left-hand side of a back three with Ogbonna and Dawson.
Yeah, we saw it last season with West Ham. They do have that formational flexibility. They can switch very easily to a back three, back five, and still perform well. So again, I think their togetherness is hugely important. Their fitness levels are right up there, and they can play in a variety of ways. So a very good all-round performance. Certainly in the second half, they've come on really strong.
Hayden. Andrei Yarmolenko is going to come on for the last few seconds plus added time here. Off comes Jared Bowen to make way. Yarmolenko, who shone brightly, didn't he, in the European Championships for Ukraine. And while West Ham make this change, I'll take this opportunity, Andy, to ask you for your man of the match.
Well, I think pre-match the attacking focus was on Callum Wilson, Alan San-Maximin, but Mikel Antonio has completely outdone them, involved in the first goal, created Benrahma's goal, scored a brilliant counter-attacking goal himself, and he's covered so much ground for the team. He wanted to be West Ham's number 9, and he has had an enormous influence on this result today.
And he's missed a penalty, but he's taken the opportunity to draw level with Di Canio at the top of the West Ham Premier League goal-scoring charts.
You know, that goal that he scored, you might look at the finish and say, well, it is emphatic, it's brilliant, but the amount of ground that he covers to get there in the first place, that really sums up how hard he works for this team.
Well, he missed 14 Premier League games last season. And with the added European commitments, it's going to be a mighty burden for him. Ben Johnson is wearing number 31, ready to come on in what will be West Ham's final change. You see there, smiling figure of Kevin Nolan just behind him. Formerly of this parish, of course, along with Stuart Pearce, who's on the West Ham coaching staff, both players here. Fornals. Yarmolenko back to Sofal.
You mentioned there the West Ham coaching staff, David Moyes and Stuart Pearce and Kevin Nolan. You get the feeling there'll be too many of those West Ham players answering those guys back.
And off goes West Ham's man of the match. Johnson. He's predominantly a full-back, or that's where he played in his younger years. He's still only 21, but when he was coming through the academy, he was more of a winger. Certainly playing quite high up the pitch on that right-hand side.
You can hear the acclaim that Mikel Antonio is getting from the West Ham fans, and you know, fans aren't daft. They know quality when they see it, but they know hard work and desire, and they get a bit of everything with Mikel Antonio.
Murphy. Slipped by Joe Linton. And inside the last minute of the signalled for, the West Ham captain brings them up the field again. Johnson. I think we can say it now that for the first time in 6 Premier League seasons, West Ham are going to start with a Premier League win. And a mixture of cheers from the heights and murmurs and boos all round St James's Park, because David Moyes has brought his side here this season on day 1. And